Do you like Buffett's involvement here if it comes at the price of an 8% preferred?
Yeah, good afternoon. We do like his involvement, not only for Oxy, but also for the sector as a whole, because we do think that this is an undervalued group and he's making a good investment here in the sector as a whole. But we like his involvement. I mean, he's obviously a very good value investor, or just a good investor overall, and he gets a nice 8% coupon with warrants attached to it. And so I think he's making a commitment to this company and in return getting a good investment with it.
Right, but is it too good? You know, people will say, wait a minute, Warren's so savvy. If he's on the other side of the deal, you want to be on his side.
Yeah, that's true. We definitely heard some of that feedback this morning for sure. But I do think that this provides confidence in their ability to execute on this transaction and the synergies and the outlook that they provided for sure.
Brian, we talked a little bit about this last hour, but as this plays out, people say, all right, well, now you've got the Warren Buffett firepower and, in a way, brand behind this. It's not exactly a hostile bid because Anadarko is open to hearing more about it. But those balance sheet concerns that investors had about Occidental completing this deal, it's odd because, in part now those go away, but in part they're worse, right?
Yeah, I mean, 8% dividend over 10 years' time, $100 million. I mean, it's a big deal. 100,000 preferred shares. But here's the thing. I mean, I think to Jason's point, when you have the world's most famous investor come into an energy sector that he said, by the way, years ago, he was getting out of, and he had no interest in investing in oil and gas, now he's making this big deal. Maybe it is a steep price to pay for Occidental, but remember, he hasn't done anything yet. Here's the key we got to remember. Once the Anadarko board formally enters talks with Occidental, Chevron has 4 days to respond. Now, I don't know if Anadarko's response is considered a formal discussion in talks, so I don't know if that 4-day period has kicked in yet. But I do know from sources inside of Chevron that there are people talking. They've got that window to come in. So Buffett hasn't paid anything yet until that Occidental Anadarko deal closes, and Chevron, as the stocks draft would say, is on the clock.
Josh Silverstein, what does Buffett's interest in this deal and this company, presumably a potentially merged company, what does it do for the other players in the Permian and in the shale area? I would think it's going to lever up their values.
Yeah, we would certainly think so as well. I mean, this sector has been, overlooked for the last few years, and even with everything that's positive going on for it right now, with what we see as a really attractive valuation, where the sector is trading half the market multiple. The producers are generating positive free cash flow at $60 oil. You just had the biggest merger in the space, and yet the stocks aren't really reacting to it. So we think that this should lift valuations for all the companies, particularly on the Permian Basin, where Oxy was putting most of their focus and value on as far as the Anadarko transaction.
And finally, Josh, where does this leave Chevron if they don't decide to chase Anadarko?
Yeah, I mean, they'll certainly have a couple options and $1 billion of cash on the balance sheet to go and make another acquisition or just to buy back shares. That'll be their option to go and raise the bid if they want to. But if they don't, they'll have some extra cash in the balance sheet to go and do something, and I think they'll be strategic with it.
Brian, Chevron shares up 2% on this news. I wonder if that's because investors are saying maybe they're walking away.
Hey, the market tells the story, right, Kelly and Tyler? I mean, so the market is suggesting maybe Chevron is out of this game. To Josh's point, they're getting $1 billion breakup fee. Think about that. You don't do a deal, you just made $1 billion doing nothing, engaging bankers and lawyers for a couple of days to put in the original bid. Nobody, by the way, believes that if Chevron comes in with a bid, it's going to top Occidental's. Nobody believes that I've talked to. What they think, guys, if Chevron does sweeten its bid, it won't be above 76 a share. It'll be less than that because they view their equity, their stock, as that much better than Occidental.